皆さんこんにちは。毎日少しずつ社交に使える英語の上達を目指すソーシャルイングリッシュポッドキャストへようこそ。今日はぜひもっと自信を持って英会話してみましょう。 Are you ready, Percy? Let's go!
Okay, I'm ready to go and I am pumped up. Thank you, Hikari, for that awesome, amazing introduction as always. And I want to ask you something. What do you think is the most important skill that you need to learn to master conversational English, or just to get better? Is it turning Japanese into English by translating? Do you think it's the grammar and the structure of the sentences? Well, I'll talk about that in today's podcast. But first, I want to welcome the new listeners to the Social English Podcast. My name is Percy, and you've reached the place here, the Social English Podcast, where our goal is to get you, the Japanese learner of English, to the best possible place you can on your journey in becoming fluent and getting natural English language ability. Okay, so the question has one specific answer to me. That answer is listening. That's right, listening. Many Japanese learners of English, in my experience as being an English teacher, have focused a lot of their efforts and energy on grammatical structure and on other aspects of English that are hindering or making it more difficult for them to have a natural sounding flow of English when they speak conversational English. And the biggest skill, which doesn't even sound like a skill, is having the ability to be a skilled listener. A skilled listener. You should be able to hear the differences between an R sound, a L sound, and a R sound. Those are completely different sounds. So you need to train your mind into hearing those different sounds. The reason is because there are certain sounds in English that you cannot copy by using the Japanese pronunciation of hiragana or the Japanese structure of language. English is not a phonetic language, so you cannot use a phonetic sounding language to copy. Now, at a certain time, you should think to yourself, what I just said in English doesn't sound like what they said. This is totally okay. This is okay. I consider this the time where you've reached your second point. Your second perfect point of understanding where you need to change your aspect of English learning. Because up to that time, you mimicked the sounds of language by using hiragana or katakana to mimic the sound of English. So your goal and our goal here is to move from stage 1 of the beginner of mimicking English and possibly stage 2 of intermediate and mimicking English into the stage of intermediate of speaking clear English clearly. Now, the way that you do this is you need to listen. Listen. Your skill set doesn't end with speaking or making the correct order of a sentence in the grammar structure, but it also happens to have the biggest impact with listening. So I want you to listen to me, and I want you to hear the different sounds that I am saying today when I speak to you. Listen to this particular phrase, which we call a tongue twister. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Now, this is a tongue twister. We use this in English too. Even American English children learn this to help them differentiate from different sounds like vowels and consonants. So let me re-say that particular tongue twister in slow speed. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Now, let me say the exact same phrase in fast speed. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Now, the reason why you want to start with it at slow speed and eventually work your way up to fast speed is because you want to train your ear and your mind to hear the different sounds and the different consonants. Yes. So I hope you listened to that and you learned a lot. Okay? So we also want to listen to different forms of additional tongue twisters. Here is an example. I'll say it first at slow speed, and then I will say it in fast speed. Okay? Slow speed. Rural brewery. Rural brewery. Rural brewery. Okay, that is the slow speed version. Let me say it again, this time in fast speed. Rural brewery. Rural brewery. Rural brewery. Rural brewery. Okay? Now, this is another piece of tongue twister that you can use as an exercise again to practice listening and hearing what something should sound like. Use these two words or these two phrases as exercises, just like you would exercise a muscle to increase your hearing ability and your listening ability and your speaking ability of the English language. Okay, that is it for today's episode of Social English. It was great to have you today. And hey, I love doing this show for you guys. And I love teaching the English language to Japanese learners. It is something that I love to do. It's awesome. And I can't wait to join you again for the next episode of the Social English podcast. Now, you can still be a guest, become a guest. Apply to become a guest at realsocialenglish.com. There you can ask me any question on the podcast. You can choose a question. I will answer it here on the podcast for you to learn about English, something that's bothering you, something you may be confused about, and we can go through that together. And it has an added bonus of allowing you to share that with everyone who's listening to the podcast to help them improve their English as well. Don't forget, we have a free guide on the website. It's called The 7 Common Mistakes Most Japanese Learners of English Make and How to Fix Them. Okay? This is a free guide that we made for you that you can download as soon as you enter your email address. We ask for your email address because we want to keep in contact with you and let you know every time we post new content for you to improve and get better on your journey to English mastery. You can also find many tools on our website, realsocialenglish.com, as well as blogs and show notes so you can read what was covered in the podcast that day if you didn't understand it by listening to it. That's at realsocialenglish.com. This is Percy once again. It was great talking to you today, and can't wait to see you in the next episode. Peace.
今日は楽しい時間をありがとうございました。ぜひ私たちのウェブサイト realsocialenglish.com を訪問して日本語訳と役立つ情報を手に入れてください。また次回お会いしましょう。バイバイ。See you next time. Bye bye.